Hello and welcome to GuyLogic. My name is Temko and this is a look at the Dropzone beta. Now, Dropzone is a combination of a MOBA style game with a RTS. And it is of the guys that built Rise of Nations. So I had not heard of this game at all prior to Gamescom 2016, which is a couple of weeks ago. And they had a massive booth, and myself and Zisha went in and were like, okay, what is this all about? They have a humongous booth. You've never heard of this. Let's go ahead and see what it's all about. And if, like us, you've never heard of this game but are very curious, there's going to be a beta key giveaway at the end of the video, so stick around. And I have to say, the game captivated me immensely. It has just the right level of micro to feel like an intense RTS. At the same time, it has the scaling of a MOBA style game with controlling a unit with abilities and that one-on-one feel you have of fighting other players personally and not some drones they send their direction. Full control over units combined with full control over a interactive one-on-one experience. Now, so far the game is only 1v1 and it's also only versus AI or other players. So there's no special match modes, there's nothing like 3v3 or 5v5, and whether or not that comes down the line, I don't know. But for now, you are one player facing another player at one of two maps currently in the game. You control 3 units, they control 3 units out of about 15 units total that are available and unlockable. And these units come in a variety of different fashions. Tanks can take a big beating, healers and support characters can do a variety of things from healing to stunning to other utility types of stuff such as movement speed or increasing range or damage. And then you have gunners or combat units that again have a variety of abilities but all boil down to do a bunch of damage. And you can combine 3 units however you deem fit. So you can do 3 tanks, 3 healers, 3 damage dealers, and you can combine them in your party as you like. Obviously, a balanced party based on your opponent is very important. And that is the one part of this game where I'm not sure the developers have really put a lot of thought into it. Because currently there's about 15 units and each unit has a loadout. You can both customize abilities based on the gear you have available as well as 3 passive abilities that scale up with unit level. But most of these abilities are fairly hard to buy or unlock. You can buy them with in-game currency, but often the case you don't really get the ones you really need for a specific character and you will resort to crafting. Crafting in the game takes quite a few spare components you break down for parts and then use for crafting a new item. You just don't get a lot of those from regular gaming. You get some by opening crates, which cost a bunch of in-game currency, but not a lot. So you'll spend a lot of time trying to gather and piece together your gear. And this is the one thing I have some issues with in regards to the game. But once you get into the game, once you have your team assembled, whether or not you like the way it's set up, you start playing the game. And the game plays on 2 levels. One is obviously the level of collecting these glowing orbs and bring them to the center of the map to hand them in for points. You do so by killing NPCs on the map. Once they respawn, they'll be stronger and you have to do more effort on them. But again, you will be leveled up and your characters will be leveled up, so they'll have more abilities, more health, and so on and so forth. The other part of the game is preventing your opponent from getting theirs. Now, it's easy to think, oh, I just have to hand in more than my opponent, and that's that. Well, part of it is that, but the other part is obviously that there are side objectives here that do count for quite a few points based on the objective. The objective to control all vision points on the map means you have to sacrifice one of your units at the very least to go deep into enemy territory and hopefully capture this vision point that grants them vision on the map before the enemy can respond. Obviously, if the enemy responds by sending 3 of their units your way, you'll be in a 3v2 and you can't win that in that way. If you can, well, you're clearly the superior player and you don't have nothing to worry about. But in an even matchup, you probably won't win a 3v2 based on your unit composition. So a lot of strategy is based on outsmarting your opponent, optimizing where you send units. Are you going to send only 1? Are you going to send 2 or all 3? Do you need to rush down a layer, get these glowing orbs and get them all to the center? Or are you going to harass your opponent while he is gathering, while you gather much more slowly, hopefully offsetting that deficit in damage or deficit in tanking capability? All of these abilities switch around, obviously combining that with the abilities of the characters and the various tanks and units and modules and activatables that you have. You can combine and strategize quite a bit more than your regular MOBA gameplay, which is very cool and really interesting. Now, the way the leveling system in this game works is a lot like a MOBA, but with a slight twist. The XP pool you gather is global, meaning you just level up. But it's not global on each character. You decide which character levels up. And based on the loadout of your character you have customized on your own, this means that certain characters may get their abilities at level 1, at level 2, level 3, level 4, or even level 5. So you have to really think and consider which character you're going to level up at which stage of the game, so you can optimize and offset your win chance. If you optimize your gunner, your tank is going to be a little bit weaker, and if your opponent optimizes healer, will your DPS be able to outperform that healing that their character does? Or if you don't have your gunner, maybe you need to optimize your healer because at level 2 or level 3 he'll get a stun ability or something like that, and you need to use that. There's a lot of thinking you have to put into upgrading your characters and how to offset that to your opponent. And based on the fact that you have 3 characters, this is a little bit more complex than it is in a traditional MOBA style game such as League or Dota, but not as complex as something like StarCraft, where these type of decisions are manifold over hundreds of various decisions and upgrades and resource spending points. So it's a nice little mix in between the complex decision making you do in StarCraft and the mechanical decision making you have to do there, as opposed to the much more streamlined experience Dota or League of Legends have, that's much more focused on execution instead of on the fly thinking and adapting. This is a nice little middle of the ground, and I'm curious to see how that will fold out as more and more players figure out various metas and various tactics based on the game styles of the characters available. Now, speaking of the characters available, I find them quite varied. The various mechanics I've encountered so far range from a pure healer with a variety of different heals, to a utility character which has a heal damage combination, an AoE heal based on the damage. He has a ranged stun that increases in damage output the longer it travels, and a variety of other things like that. Then you have a tank that has a pull ability that pulls characters in, but again, you can switch type of tank around you want and then upgrade a different tank with that same pull ability. So you can have a bunch of variety based on what the characters do. The only thing locked into a character actively is the type of character they are, e.a. a tank, a gunner, a mechanic, stuff like that, and their generic passive for the shell they inhibit. So the mechanic I'm currently using has a passive that heals characters around him based on the damage he deals. So that is a pretty interesting mechanic, so he's really good in team fights where he has multiple characters around him. Another mechanic will have the ability that it will increase movement speed of those around him. Very good for getting in and out very quickly or utilizing skirmish tactics around your opponent. Again, team utility is the goal here. A tank may have one that increases his armor or one that increases his AoE damage around him. There's a variety of different things here, and that's very, very cool. The rest of it obviously customizable using the crafting system, fiddly as it is. Now, other than that, because the game runs on a 1v1 scale, it is perfect for the traditional ELO ranking system, as opposed to League of Legends or Dota, where you are playing solo or with a team and you're ranking against solos or a team. Your individual score is only partially calculated into the whole score of the team. The team running a massive score of everyone being on the same ELO and one person being far below it will perform much worse than a team that has a slightly lower score overall, averaging the evening out, but not enough to offset the one bad player. In a 1v1 situation such as this, 1v1 is all there is and your individual score is all that matters. So there aren't all good things here. The game has some serious bugs and issues, and the balance is a little bit all over the place currently in the beta, and that is not okay. There's also performance issues, some crashes to desktop, and a variety of other stuff in the game currently that provides some issues. Also, the variety of crafting gear and the variety of heroes available for selection as your various robots is still very limited. Only 15 being available means that in a few matches, you'll have your favorite loadout and just use that time and time again until you can unlock something and then craft the necessary things for that something to use that. It's a very slow process, meaning you might get bored playing the same characters over and over again. I do hope the developers do quite a bit about this. The second thing I'm worried about is the lack of variety in game modes and map. Currently there's only one map mode, which is gather the nodes and send them to the center, and based on 2 maps, and while the maps themselves are interesting, it is very limited in game time. Only about 5 or 10 matches in, I had my preferred route, my preferred technique, and my preferred method of doing things that provided me quite a bit of success. This is something that would have been offset based on the variety of maps and maybe even the variety of characters I pick for the different types of map. Currently, such is not the case, and that is a bit of a shame. It does really lower the amount of variety and tactical gameplay you can have based on using the strengths of the map or the strengths of your characters on that map to their full advantage. Right now, it doesn't really matter because you have a preferred loadout and you just mix and match based on whatever map you might want. So that is something developers can definitely do a ton about to improve upon. Other than that though, the game's core functionality is very, very complete. I like the upgrade system, I like the in-game leveling system quite a bit, and I also like the way the matchmaking works and how you select various characters one after the other, so you can at least counterpick a little bit what your opponent is doing and vice versa. Now the game is going to be free to play from what I can tell, and while free to play has definitely passed its peak with League of Legends being the crown that really set the game apart, for most situations right now, I'm not sure free to play is still the way to go, and I'm really hoping the developers reconsider this in a sort of packaged gameplay mode, such as Smite does, where you pay one upfront fee and unlock all the necessary things you might want. I would have preferred this method as well. While free to play is nice for an entry level type of thing, the investment required, either in time or in money to unlock the necessary tools, is still very high, and a game like this needs to leech away players from different types of titles such as StarCraft, League of Legends, Dota, Smite, and so on and so forth to actually be successful. And these are titles where people have either invested a large amount of time in or a large amount of money in and feel invested in these titles. Pulling them away just saying, but our game is better, is probably not going to work, and many other games in the past couple of years have tried that and failed miserably. A bit of an issue there. And I hope the developers have some strategies in place to sort of think out how they plan on improving this. Other than my concerns for the player base and my concerns with the crafting system in the game and lack of map variety, all the core components in this game are very well put together, and the goal and idea of this game are crystal clear. This game feels tight, feels controlled, and feels very well put together. I really like it. So if you want to check out Dropzone, you can sign up for the beta on their website right now, but if you are so inclined, the developers have given us 5 beta keys to give away on this YouTube channel. So if you leave a comment down below, that's all you need to do, just leave a comment. Then I will pick out 5 winners for the beta access keys and hand them over to you. They're using YouTube's private message system, so keep that in mind. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press that like button below. If you did not like this video, press that dislike button below and tell us why. Leave a comment. Tell us what you did great. Tell us what we can do better. We want to hear back from all of you. And remember, leave a comment if you want to make off with one of those beta keys. As always, if you want to see more content like this on the channel, just press that subscribe button down below and we will deliver. And until then, I wish you a good day, and until next time, right here on GuyLogic.